just before 7:20 on our Monday, and we are in the throes of another major winter storm. Heavy snow falling across parts of eastern, northeastern Newfoundland right now, including in the St. John's metro area. This was the view at my house in Torbay just a few minutes ago, and you can see the snow was coming down at a good clip. We'll talk about the radar, what we can expect for the rest of the day, and more after I thank the sponsor of this morning's forecast, Heave Away Waste Management.
Come get your duds in order, 'cause we're bound to cross the water. Heave away, me jollies, heave away. Come get your duds in order, 'cause we're bound to leave tomorrow. Heave away, me jolly boys, we're all bound away.
Temperature-wise, it is mild-ish out there as we're beginning a day on the island, so the snow that we are seeing is likely more wet rather than fluffy, especially in the east and south. Meanwhile, in Lab West, it's a cold start with temperatures into the minus 30s. For today across the island, highs are going to be near zero, so again, that snow is going to be more wet than it is going to be white. Into Labrador, highs in the south today going to be close to freezing, while in the west, temperatures struggle to get into the minus teens for highs. Now, what we are seeing is an intense area of low pressure currently located south of the Avalon Peninsula. That is going to slowly pass us by as we go throughout the day. And because of that, we are going to see the snow last for several hours today and likely see several waves of it, especially for eastern and northeastern Newfoundland and on parts of the Avalon Peninsula. Notice by tomorrow morning that low is still in close proximity, but by 5, 6 o'clock the snow should primarily be done. Environment and Climate Change Canada has a few weather alerts in effect for today. We've got orange and yellow level winter storm warnings for roughly the eastern half of Newfoundland for the combination of snow and wind. And in some areas, snowfall totals are going to be very close to, if not more, than 50 centimeters, especially in that orange level alert area. We're also looking at a blowing snow advisory for Burgeo-Ramia until late tonight or tomorrow morning for a combination of snow and wind. Winds in this area are going to gust close to 100. In fact, across eastern and northeastern Newfoundland later today, winds are also going to gust close to 100 kilometers per hour. We're also looking at the potential of coastal flooding from high waves and storm surge with the high tides today and tonight and potentially into tomorrow morning. So if you have interest along the coast, certainly keep that in mind because we are certainly going to be seeing those high water levels and potentially some coastal inundation. Now, we look at the live radar imagery as of 7:20. As you're watching this, obviously it's a bit later because I have recorded it. But what we are seeing is some very dark blue showing up here on the Bonavista Peninsula back to the Clarenville area and then onto parts of the Avalon Peninsula. This is where the heaviest snow is currently located. And because all we're seeing primarily right now is snow, although in the southern part of the Avalon we're beginning to get that transition to ice pellets and freezing rain, we can actually flip off the precipitation depiction and just look at the reflectivity. And where you see the very dark greens, that indicates areas of very intense snowfall. So we'll zoom in to the Avalon and the northeast Avalon at that, and we can see a very heavy swath of snow is over much of the southern shore from almost like Torres Cove, Witless Bay, up through, it looks like now, like Petty Harbor, Maddox Cove, Cape Spear, and just stretching into the southern part of the metro area. And that is kind of lifting off toward the northeast. And so what's going to happen today is we're going to watch the area of precipitation kind of move up and tilt like that and then pivot. And essentially where it pivots, we're going to see an area that ends up under that very heavy snow band for a long period of time. And in my opinion, it's going to be somewhere likely between here and maybe into St. John's. We will see. We might get a little bit of a break in the St. John's area like they're going to see on parts of the southern shore, but we won't know that for sure until it actually happens. So we'll keep a close eye on that as it does kind of continue to evolve. The other thing we can look at to actually just kind of see what we're looking at webcam wise and what the conditions actually look like out there, I can actually bring up the provincial webcams, and I'll do that for you right now, and we'll show you what it looks like on the Avalon for the time being. And we can see Bay Roberts looking very snowy right now. Out in Dunnville, can't see anything. There's the latest view in Foxtrap. Visibility looks pretty poor. Heart's Content Barrens doesn't look too bad, but sometimes cameras are a bit deceiving. Holyrood can't see very much. Paddy's Pond, pretty well a whiteout there. Trepassey looks like visibility has come up a touch. Whitburn not snowing. It's snowing, but it doesn't look like it's snowing super heavily at the time being. Clarenville snowing hard. Pretty nasty up in Port Rexton right now, which is where this camera here is from. Burin Peninsula, Duns River, Grand Bank, Salt Pond, all looking pretty gross right now. Snowing in Gander, Lumsden, no surprises there. Looks like it's not too bad in Badger or Lewisport for the time being. That may change, and then as we get to the west coast, it's not nearly as intense with respect to the snowfall, and that's something that we're going to see generally be a trend today. The heaviest snow is certainly going to be in the east. As we take a look at the weather timeline for the metro area, again, heaviest snowfall rates between now and about 10, 11 o'clock, and then it lightens up, but it still snows through 3, 4, 5 a.m. Tuesday morning. So we're looking at, a long duration winter storm. We're a long way from being done with this. The question is, do we catch a break late morning into the early afternoon for much of the Avalon and maybe even a bit of freezing drizzle, which I am expecting for the southern half. Don't know about the metro or the Avalon North yet because these lows sometimes have some tricks up their sleeve. They don't often behave exactly as the model depicts, but basically what looks like should happen is the heaviest snow after 10 o'clock should kind of push back to the west, and Futurecast shows that really well. So midday, still showing snow for like the northern, northeast Avalon North, but at this point the heaviest snow is likely back in this area here and not over the metro, but in the Avalon North. But as we go into the afternoon, that snow pivots back down to the south and southeast. And again, this is why we're looking at such prolific snowfall totals, because it lasts for so long. And once we get into 4 or 5 tomorrow morning, it's pretty well done. The other thing I haven't gotten to yet is the wind, and we'll get there. Snowfall amounts, again, I talked about this last night, from last night through tomorrow morning. 30 to 50 centimeters for much of eastern and northeastern Newfoundland, including the Burin Peninsula and the Conagra area. I think the higher totals are likely on the Avalon North, potentially St. John's Metro, Clarenville, Bonavista Peninsula, and around parts of Bonavista Bay. On the Avalon itself, we are likely looking at like lower end totals kind of in this area here, possibly higher end totals for the metro area, and more likely higher end for the Avalon North. We go back to the Gander area here, just inside that 30 to 50 range, so I think probably closer to 30 than 50, but I think you're kind of there. And again, if we're going to see real high end totals in this area, it's going to be likely around Bonavista Bay, from Bonavista down to Port Rexton, Salvage, Glovertown, as we get into Hare Bay, Terra Nova National Park, Eastport area, Gambo, Glovertown, kind of areas like that, if you will. Happy Adventure comes to mind too. Off to the southwest, snowfall amounts are much less, and generally less than 5 for West Coast and less than 2 for the Northern Peninsula, but parts of Labrador along the mid-coast will see 5 to 10 today as well, even though that's not kind of here on the map, but that is in the forecast for that area. Now, we're looking at wind speeds now. They're not super impressive. 48 in St. John's, gusting 76. It's pretty nasty out there. Sagona Island gusting 94. That's often a high spot. And as we go throughout the day, the wind speeds are only going to ramp up. So by midday, we're gusting 95 in town, 95 in Bonavista. Those winds will further strengthen this afternoon, peaking this evening, potentially as high as 120 on the Bonavista Peninsula area, about 105, 110 for the Avalon. And once we get through midnight, the wind speeds will begin to come down, and that will be a trend that we see as we go into kind of the remainder here of the evening and the overnight. So that's the update for this morning. I'll do some live coverage here coming up in a little bit. I'm just checking on a few things now to see if there's anything of note kind of worth showing you before I basically say goodbye for the time being, because this again is recorded. I don't see anything major coming through at the moment, other than obviously lots of closures. I got school closures up in the Storm Center on the website, sureweather.ca. You can find the province road cams there, map room, and also don't forget to get my app, Sure Weather, in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. You can have the live radar right in the app as well. So something kind of cool there. All right, have a very good Monday morning. Everything's pretty well closed for Eastern Newfoundland today, and I'll be posting updates throughout the day. So be sure to follow along if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Give me a follow, give me a subscribe on YouTube. Have a very good Monday morning.